What is up, everyone? My name is Kyle from Speed Introductions, and as you can tell from the title today, I'm going to be talking about why you should watch the original Dragon Ball. Now, let me preface this by saying, for those of you that don't know, I am a huge Dragon Ball fan. I have been for years. I originally watched it when it was on TV, or should say tried to watch it while it was on TV. For anyone that tried to watch Dragon Ball or anime in general while it was on cable, you would know how terrible that is. But I did my best to watch it, and over the years I have started to collect and own most of the series, if not all of the series, on physical media, which has been awesome, and I enjoy it. But over my time of being a fan of the series, one thing has come up a lot, and I don't really understand why, but I'm going to try to address it right here, and that is the consensus that a lot of people skip over the original Dragon Ball and jump right into Z, and I don't really understand why people do that. I mean, to some degree I do, because back in the day, you would only be able to watch Dragon Ball Z, or at least you were only able to watch Z for a very long time. Dragon Ball Z was the one marketed on TV. If you lived in Canada like I did, or the States, or I believe in Europe as well, Dragon Ball Z was the first part of the show that came on. But we don't live in that era anymore, and with the rise of streaming and with more accessibility to watch series, it just confuses me why people still jump over where the series began to watch it from, I guess, the middle point. So let's talk about it. Let's go over some critiques as to why people jump over it. Now, one big reason is that the original Dragon Ball is a lot more comedy-based, especially in its initial arc. So, as opposed to Dragon Ball Z, that is a very action-oriented series, it kind of throws people off, especially in the original arc of the show. And I get that, but as you watch Dragon Ball, as the series progresses, it becomes more and more of what people expect it to be. So you get to see its beginning, and it gradually evolve into the Dragon Ball Z that people know and people have watched. Another thing is that there's a few scenes involving a certain character who may remain anonymous, Master Roshi, that might be considered a bit weird by today's standards, and I can totally see that, but I don't think he detracts enough to make it so you shouldn't watch it. If you are really against that sort of thing, you can fast forward through the handful of scenes where it gets a little weird. But what makes me laugh about this is that people complain about the stuff that Master Roshi's done, while in the same breath I've had people tell me that one of their favorite characters in anime is Jiraiya from Naruto, and you know, they might be very similar, but I'm not going to judge. And you know what? You shouldn't judge. So, you know, you might not like Roshi, but if you like Jiraiya, you know, whatever, that's fine. But for me, I don't really get it, because you don't, and here's my segue here. I have never, ever heard of anyone telling someone that wanted to watch Naruto. I've never heard someone say, hey, just started shipping it. I've never heard that. Because you miss out on Naruto's origin, you miss out on his younger years where he's becoming the character that he is in Shippuden. And Dragon Ball is a very similar way. A lot of people's major criticism of Dragon Ball is that Goku can be a very flat character, and that he doesn't evolve, he doesn't really have character arc. And while he might not be a very dramatic character arc or anything, Goku does change and evolve over the course of the original Dragon Ball. because at the beginning of the series, he's a very naive, very influential character that doesn't know anything. He knows how to hunt, he knows how to fight, and that is pretty much it. He doesn't even know how to tell a boy from a girl. So, you know, make of that as you will. But throughout the course of the series, he gets stronger. He learns how to fight. He learns how to use his ability to protect people and to form relationships and all of this with other people. So to say that is not a character development is false. In my mind, anyway. You might have a different opinion. You might still think Goku's a terrible character, in which case, you know what? You're allowed to have your own opinion. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. I personally think Goku has a really good arc in the original series, and then even up to a certain point in Dragon Ball Z. But I digress, and another reason why you should watch the original series, or read it, or however you want to consume media, is because the way Akira Toriyama wrote it, and it's really interesting. If you open up Volume 1 of Dragon Ball, the manga, it will say Dragon Ball Volume 1 of 42, I believe. Somewhere in that ballpark, around 42. And so that means, and then when you open up Volume 1 of Dragon Ball Z, it will say Dragon Ball Volume 17 of 42, because there are 16 volumes in the original run, and then Volume 1 of DBZ is actually Volume 17. The reason it's written that way is because Akira Toriyama wrote Dragon Ball as just Dragon Ball. There wasn't really a big separation between Ball and Z. That was a marketing choice. I could be mistaken on that one, please. Just, that's what I've been informed of. I could be widely mistaken. If I am, correct me in the comments. Let me know. I love learning shit. But to my understanding, that's what it was. From Pilaf Saga to the Majin Buu Saga is Dragon Ball. So if you're only watching from the Saiyan Saga onward, you're missing out on a good chunk of the story. And so I honestly feel like you should watch it from the beginning. And I have a buddy of mine that somehow, despite being around the same age as me, never watched Dragon Ball. Nothing. And last year he started watching it, and he came to me and was like, hey, should I start at Z or should I start at the original? And I told him, start at the original. And he did, and he enjoyed it. And at one point he came up to me and was like, hey, I just want to say thank you for telling me to watch it in the beginning, because you get a much better understanding of the world, of the characters, of everything around the action in Z. You understand a lot more of how the characters have interacted with each other, because in Z you have all these pre-existing relationships that if you skip over Dragon Ball, you don't really have any connection to these characters. So when things start happening to them, I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't watched it yet, like my buddy, you don't care as much because you didn't have this pre-existing relationship. You didn't know who these characters were, as opposed to if you had watched from the beginning, you would know who all these characters are and what their relationship is with one another. That is my long-winded way of saying, hey, if you want to watch Dragon Ball, watch it from the beginning. If you have never watched it and want to give it a shot, why not start at the very beginning and see how you like it? And if you hate it, then I apologize, but if you love it, then you're welcome. Anyway, that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it makes some sense. I'm still not entirely sure how I want to do these videos where I'm talking at you about certain things, but I want to keep trying and make different content and new things just to see see what sticks, see what's fun to make, see what's fun to do. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out, and watch Dragon Ball.